Smart Mondays. I just go in for the first half. I normally go to Starbucks or the library every day. If I have money, I go to Starbucks. If I don't have money, then I go to the library. But if I patronize once a day, sometimes I patronize Starbucks a couple times a day or once a day. Or if I buy my coffee in the morning, I just tell them, I'm sipping my coffee all day, but I'm still working. So sometimes they let me come in and do a little work, charge my electronics. This is how I charge my electronics in a lifestyle like this. I'm gonna start highlighting this more because I'm tired of people talking about it. I'm ready to move on from the narrative. I'm ready from the focus to not be on homeless or not. I'm ready for the focus to not just solely be on shelter. That means they are of a low intelligence. If that's all they can talk about, that means they do not have the same intelligence as other people that can find solutions. They are the excuse makers. People that cannot stop hyper focusing on this homeless situation. That means that they are a part of the problem. I mean, it's just not rocket science. You know what I'm saying? It's not rocket science. It just means that they are of a lower frequency. They're of a lower frequency. I mean, I've had more in my life, but just thinking of in this moment right now, some might say, oh, she has less than them. If you want to, if that's a type of measurement, right? And so even with that measurement, the amount of sadness and the amount of negativity that they give out with the abundance that they have is a red flag to somebody like me, that I have a different type of zest for living, a zest for life that doesn't involve them, that doesn't even incorporate them in the day-to-day of it. Actually, in the whole cultivation of it, it doesn't involve them. And so that's why I guess I'm speaking up on it now, because it just seems like they won't stop even when nobody else is saying or doing anything. That means they're criminal. That means they're up to no good. That means they are mischievous. That means their whole life has been this way, that they are mischievous people. And so it's no other way to say it. I mean, if the whole world is in silence and all they can think about is how to say something negative, that means they are of a low frequency. Okay? I'm so tired of these types of people being in charge, being in leadership. I'm gonna start speaking up on it more through some type of a platform. Even if I'm outside, inside, whatever, I'm gonna still speak up on it. Because I've accepted, like they said, for me in particular, I don't know if anybody else has heard this in their life, but sometimes these situations can be planned out for the lifespan. So you have to, to be privy of that information at this phase of it is delightful. Because then I can take that information and I can just build a life around that fact, and then it is what it is, and then it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't become a roadblock. It doesn't become any kind of block. It just becomes something that they said is fact. Okay, society says you will be outside forever as long as you live. That's the rule. Okay, well, I accept that. And so in accepting that, what else can they do? What else can they say? What else can they do? In accepting it. Right. But what one can do is invest their time in ways that vertically can advance them, even if in silence, and then just wait and let time pass. Because what you'll notice as time goes on, everyone is not everyone doesn't want to deal with the same shit from the past. Everybody doesn't want to repeat if they have a choice. And so maybe before there wasn't as many choices, but now through everybody participating in life, except for them, they did not participate. And I want you to take note that the people are the most negative, are the ones that did not participate in the building of life. They did not participate in the Great Migration. They did not participate in it. Everyone who is pulling the world down or will attempt to are the ones that did not participate in what the world built. Okay? So these are your people that did not participate in fitness. In the global upspring of fitness, they did not participate. That's in weightlifting, that's in Pilates, that's in yoga, that's in stretching, that's in running, that's in jump roping, anything athletic. We didn't see them participate in any of that. So that's why they're doing this. Another thing, they did not participate in all of the independent television, all the cooking, all the showcasing behind the scenes of life, all the behind the scenes that became life, everything that became independent television that they had a choice to participate in. They chose not to participate in it in that way. They chose not to do what the masses were doing, even in its innocence, because it was rebuilding life like the Industrial Revolution, but online, a virtual Industrial Revolution. But they said, no, we're too good. We're not going to participate in that, because really what we want to do is wait and watch those people and then wait to pull them down. So that's still a waste. That means their life is a waste. I'm just going to go through the checklist. These are the people that did not travel and showcase all the businesses in America. These are the people that did not highlight the middle class, the folks coming from the lower class into the middle class, and people that's in the middle class becoming wealthy. They denied watching that process because it doesn't take to watch it to be able to pull it down, or they thought. And so these are people, they did not participate, okay? They have their own lane, their own agenda, whatever that is. It can be this or that or that or that. It doesn't matter. It's their own agenda that's separate from what everyone else in the entire world was doing. And so now that the world has been rebuilt and they didn't have to do it, you know who these 5, 6, maybe 10 people are in society. And so these 10 people that did not participate are the ones that have a platform in life to rally those people up also in life that did not participate, and gather them around to pull everyone down that did participate. So you kind of have to just think about it. I'm going to speak up on it more. I don't like to fight, but thinking about it allows having a companionship more so than I ever have in this last decade. I can think about how their life is a waste. I can think about how these women, how their lives are a complete waste, versus women's lives who build a cumulative life with their families, versus the women who don't do that. So you have a choice. You can be this type of woman or that type of woman or whatever type of woman or male you want to grow up to be. But having so many examples, and then so I can look at someone's life and say, wow, they have this and that, they have college, they have a PhD, they're 80 years old, they've accomplished all of this in life, and they still have zest for living and creating and being themselves. And then you can look at someone else who sits all day and twiddles their thumbs, and all they can do is think about how they can go through TikTok and pull people down. Those are different types of people. Those are just different types of people with different types of agendas. And 9 times out of 10, and it's surprising that someone like these politicians that have education, I guess we don't really know if they had education. Because I don't know many people with education that their only goal is to pull people down. So all I can think about is, do they really have education, or did somebody take their exams for them or something like that? Did they pay to have their education? Do they really have a college degree, or are they just acting like they have one? Because they don't seem as independent as life goes on as we once thought. They don't seem to be like the pillars that we once thought they were as life goes on, because their only intention is to pull other people down that don't even have to focus on them at all, that never ever have to even mention them. In my everyday life, I would never have to mention them, ever. But their everyday life, their every conversation, something about me or my life or someone that we all know is mentioned. That means they're weak. That just means they're weak. Damn. It means they're weak. It means they're not the best. It means they are inadequate, especially at their age. It means they did not learn from their youth. It means they're not the wisest one on the block. And I'm not here to get wrapped up in that type of shit. Just means that they're just not the best. And so I don't want to be in a company of people that are not the best, which is why I don't mind being alone. Yeah. And you might be wondering about my window. See, I bust my own window. I got a big ass rock and busted it out because one of those days that my car wasn't starting, I had to buy my battery. I had to buy a charger, a jumper cable, because I kept having this issue. And I actually had purchased the independent box to do it on my own, but it wouldn't charge. So the system was forcing me to buy this kind, but I actually didn't buy this kind first. I bought a battery and maintainer, and I couldn't find, it's so vague, the information on how it works. So I didn't know if I could charge that up and just use that box to just jumpstart my car. I don't know. I couldn't find that much information on it, but I saw the ones that just cost a little bit more that don't require that much thought. So eventually I'm gonna get that, but I had to get this for now. I don't know what I was saying, why I said that. They had something to do with this. Anyway, all these women waste their lives and they are in charge of the world. I don't know why. Maybe because no one else rose up in time. But all y'all talking about busting my window out. Yeah, I bust this out to get into the car, to pop the hood, to get a jump, to be on my merry way as quick as that. I didn't call it. It was no need to call a locksmith. The only thing I needed was a jump, and I went in to get the gas, and the system locked the car. It locked the car and then took the charge away, so I didn't have full tank gas, but I had definitely enough gas. But I couldn't get to it, so I had to bust the window with the rock, pull that down, climb through the window, pop the hood, get the jump, then restart the car. So that's that. So that's why I said, if they want to get it, I hope they let me make an arrangement, but they might not because of the politicians. You know what I'm saying? The politicians can say, okay, we don't want her to have this vehicle, so we'll take it from her. We don't want her to be employed, so we won't employ her. We don't want her to live inside, so we'll reject giving them shelter. And so once they say that, that's fine. You have to be intelligent, and you just have to have intelligence. And in having intelligence, you can find another solution. Through getting out in the streets, having the gift of gab, having the gift to think. You can get outside and network and meet people and make a better life for yourself. You just have to get out there, but you have to be skilled, right? I walk this way and talk this way because I actually lived it and built my own experience. And people can say that I didn't. And that's how I can keep going in my own life, because I actually did. So that's just that. I'm not gonna get caught up like no clown. I'm not a clown, but many of you are clowns, and I'm gonna highlight the clowns in this circus that we're in. I might be the circus owner, I don't know. But it's definitely an arena of clowns, and so I'm here to highlight them, since they don't mind being highlighted, right? These clowns. I'm gonna just put them out there and let people think about what kind of move they want to make in the future. If it's the best for their city, best for their town. If it's all an act, then it doesn't matter. And I do agree, you know, I know how to act too in ways to where it doesn't matter. Which is why I can just go with it either way. You know what I'm saying? I'm like everyone else now. And in that aspect, I can act either way. I can act like I give a damn, and I can act like I don't give a damn, just like everybody else. But before I couldn't act like that because I hadn't built enough leverage. But now I can. And that type of mentality, everybody having that mentality, is a threat. If don't nobody give a fuck about what happens, shit, people gonna get caught then. If everybody done built their own life and their own world outside of the media world, wait for that shit to come to a close, which is good. So anyway, I'm gonna come on rambling more and more and more about shit I don't like and shit that could change. Cause I'm tired of hearing them bitches be so damn negative and trying to incorporate me and pull me into it. And I'm not negative. not by nature. Maybe it's a tropical storm happening today. I don't know. It's always something. Maybe they sending rain to us. I don't send anything to y'all. I don't ever point my hands to the screen at y'all because I don't care. I don't care if it rains where you at. I don't care if it's sunny where you at. I don't care nothing about y'all life, where y'all at. You know, I just don't care. Now, the things that I do care about, maybe like safety or something like that, you know. But some shit I just don't care about, you know what I'm saying? Like people are like, anybody that you see trying to put a spell on somebody, that means they're inadequate. Anybody that even think like that is inadequate. Anybody that take the time out to have a thought about somebody else, damn, isn't adequate. So live life being adequate, live life being a leader. Live life with people talking about you like they talk about me and make a reference to me. I get on TV, I see them dressed like me. I say, wow, but I thought y'all said don't fuck with me, but I just see my whole essence in them. So that means in some kind of way they do fuck with what I do. And that's good. And so you know what I'm saying? But just know I'm not copying them. Okay? And that's that. I might have some more to say. I'm gonna go charge my electronics in just a little bit. Like, why she called in so much? Because shit, I've been having a lot since watching that Urban League interview. It sparked a lot in me. You know, before that, I didn't have a whole lot to say, but I just got to thinking about how since they kept making a reference to FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, that has a direct connection to me, right? Being my mother's last name is Franklin, my stepdad, their family is Franklin. My new life, his name's Franklin, but last name Franklin, right? And those who don't know, my grandfather and my uncle and my cousin, their middle name is Delano. So my grandfather is Zebedee Delano Strong, or Zebedee Delano Strong, however you want to say it. Which is my uncle Zeb and my cousin Baby Zeb. And so that's you know what I'm saying? And then Roosevelt, like thinking how my Aunt Kathy went to Roosevelt High School in Dallas, and you know, like all these connections, right? How my parents live on legacy, all this type of shit that is like satanic. But those buzzwords, they ignite people and they get people to create criminal activity. So that's why I came on and spoke up on it. So yeah, especially with the FDR, all these references to Third Ward and Houston and Texas Southern, you know, I know. And so because I know, I have to say something about it to uproot those spells, those satanic sendings to those places. I'm not sending anything to anyone. I just call in and say what I want to say, but I'm not sending them like no bad spell or nothing. I'm not here to put a spell on nobody. I'm here to bring awareness to motherfuckers. But if they put a spell on themselves, that's their own choice. People are gonna put themselves in curses through their own choices, not because somebody. No one is forcing them to call other people that they don't know. No one is forcing them to continue on something that doesn't even matter. It's just that maybe they're just lame. Well, that's that. I'm in Hollywood, Florida. It normally doesn't rain like this, but I'm sure somebody's sending some kind of rain. Oh, I'm coming on more live now because I've made a decision to becoming a permanent Florida resident. So, I'm just being myself more. I decided to live here and not go back to Texas. Decided to change my driver's license and everything here to Florida. I've never done that before. I've never had a residence outside of Texas, like permanent. So, I'm making a permanent decision. And so now I can just get back to my normal self, figure out what the steps are for me doing in my life. all these sad people, they so sad with these red nose. That means they simple or something. It means something because everybody doesn't have that red nose. And just a sad countenance. They just have a sad disposition, sad countenance about them. I wouldn't elect nobody with no sad countenance or no sad disposition. It means something about them is negative. Something about them is something that might not be as successful as one might think. If they're going into it with that, if they're going into it like this, I don't know. I think about it. Once you're around people with integrity that don't have that we've been watching lead communities and govern states and do so with such pride and strength and leadership and focus, to all of a sudden have people arise on the ballot with such sad countenances and a limited view, a limited perspective of all that there could be. I don't know, some shit out of it. Not saying people can't grow into their position. I'm not saying people can't grow into what they're doing. But I don't know. It could be like a trick. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything that glitters isn't gold. But sometimes it is. But sometimes it isn't. And so, since everything isn't gold that glitters, don't take wooden nickels. Don't exchange your money. Why would I switch out a dime for a penny? If any of that shit gonna turn to wood, you know what I'm saying? Like, that means you can't use it. That means it just be a waste. You know what I'm saying? It's just, some shit in life can be a trick. And out of coming through so many tricks, I'm not willing to go back and like be a part of nobody's trick life. And I know how to make tricks. I made a few tricks in this. through keeping certain plates hidden, through keeping certain identities hidden, purposely, so that this can unfold in an organic way. But that's what I'm coming on to say in this storm we got going on here. Just thinking about life. I'm starting my life over. I love starting life over. Just think about all the 20 years, everything been in Houston, and now we're in Florida. Wow. And they're still saying the same things they were saying when we were in Houston. They're not the smartest in the class. They can't advance everyone. You have to, it takes everyone. Diversity is I was running for governor or something like that. I don't know what I would do, what I would say. But I know I wouldn't be sad. And I know that I would have the best interest of the entire state. All people groups within the state. Not just certain people groups. I mean, it's insane to be a representative of a whole population and then only hyper-focus on some of them or down-talk the other population. Damn, doesn't make any sense. All this talk on homelessness and all that everyone did in this country to eradicate homelessness, all the solutions that mayors and governors and other people put in place, all the parameters that were put in place to making the displaced people feel a part of society again while providing them housing. To have people just come in and try to tear that down seems insane. So I want people to think about it. If you can laugh about the unemployment, and if you can laugh about the displacement, well, what if it was you? What if one day you don't have a job? What if one day you become displaced? Now, this is for Vice President Kamala Harris. What if you become unemployed one day and can't access your pension or your retirement or your investments? What if you go bankrupt? What if the government seizes all of your assets? What if something like this were to happen to you after all that you've done? What if they go back into one of those files and find out, damn, this was a criminal case. She was criminal in this decision. You just don't know what can happen. I mean, I'm just thinking off the top of my damn head of what could happen. You know what I'm saying? Just based on like the shit that they brag about and boast about. What if it comes back and we find out she didn't even graduate college? What if it comes back and she didn't even pass the bar or something? You know what I'm saying? All this shit we don't know about. But I'm thinking if she graduated from Howard and passed the bar and did all of this, then why the fuck is she so negative? That's what I just can't stop thinking about it because nothing in me wants to tear people down. But that's because I think I graduated college. I have my own life, my own identity. Now, as life has gone on, it seems like the only people who want to tear shit down are people that don't have college. That's what I'm saying. Is this an act? Did she really pass the bar to become a district attorney? Or was she just operating in that shit without really having a degree? I'm sure the National Clearinghouse know. The National Student Clearinghouse, I know they know. Or is she one of those people that paid for a degree? I'm not trying to even oust nobody, but I'm trying to get to the bottom of this shit, actually. Because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. I watched Dr. Pollard get her PhD. Dr. Pollard was not negative woman. So to watch negative women, it allows me to think they don't have college degree. Remember, people will do anything in life. I mean, I didn't do anything in life. Let me rephrase this shit, because I didn't do anything for no piece of change. God damn it. I wasn't on no goddamn casting couch. If I wanted to be on the couch, it's because I made a decision to be on somebody's couch. It wasn't because I was trying to get no damn job. I don't like to be known for that on my job. I don't mess around where I work. That's not really how that's supposed to work. If I had a boo, like if I was in college and I had a boo outside of what I was doing. It wasn't like a boo in my department until like maybe years and years later. Like I don't date men generally where I work. If I work at a school, I'm not gonna date nobody there. That's just how I am. But that's good because I'm not gonna embarrass men as life goes on. Like I told my new friend, like you're not gonna like hear about me on the road from state to state through the grapevine or none of that. I'm not that type of woman. And men will tell you on the road, if I meet a man out on the road and they try to come visit me, what is there? Goddamn chain on the door. You ain't gonna be getting my shit, bitch. I will cut you. Okay? Ask any nigga that's trying to holler at me on the road somewhere. They can't get to this bitch. I'm telling you right now. When I used to sleep on car, I kept a knife in this mother. I ain't about to get in this bitch. When I used to live in and out of hotel, I got my chain on. They ain't about to get in. Cause it ain't happening. Anyway, all these choices make me non-negative. I didn't compromise myself for nothing. And women that don't compromise, I'm talking about women that's not out here, and y'all know the difference. Women that don't have to use people or pull people down to get to their destination in life. I didn't know women was like this really, and then I grew up and discovered that this is how they work. Like, damn, I thought everybody worked, but then that's when I learned that they lied about their life, or they act their life. That's fine, but my life ain't act, right? So that's fine. Their life and act, that's their choice. But it comes to a crossroad. It shouldn't, but it does. Some that act their life, some that don't. That's where we at now. So, but it seems solvable though. Those that act their life, all of it's not an act, regardless of what they saying. That's why I know they can be out their mind. They can end up going to a mental hospital. They can lose their life because it's a part of the shit that's not fake. It's a part of it when they get home. That is so. Who can add pressure when they get home and it's nobody else but them in their pressure-filled life that once was an act that's not an act now. That's what you have to think about. Because it's society that makes it not an act. It's society that makes something that was once not real. Society makes it real through bankruptcy and taking your assets and freezing your bank accounts, or seeing where you didn't pay taxes, or seeing where you did this and that, seeing where you might have had a business way back ago and didn't pay the taxes on it, and so now you hit with a $20,000-$30,000 hit because you were supposed to make that and then pay that. You know, when you get hit with the comptroller, you know, it's all kind of ways that people don't know. So this is for Kamala though. Everything right now is I want to test and see someone with this much leadership and was given the authority of leading this country as the vice president to have so much willpower to pull the American citizen down. Where is the system that is gonna bankrupt them? Her and the second gentleman and their assets and their investments. So I just want to think about that and get other people to think about it. If they can laugh about the unemployment, why are they employed? If it's funny to them, if the unemployment in America, in the United States of America, is funny to the former vice president, Why is she employed? Why is she still coming on TV speaking on people like me, the homeless population? Well, I can speak for myself. Huh? I just want to know. All her constituents, the kings and the chancellors and this and that, everybody who she has on her team, they just allow. So are they all people that want to pull everybody down, or are they just wrapped up in something that a negative leader is saying? I just want people to think about it. How they want the trajectory of life to go. Because if they want to have another Kamala Biden situation, that shit was kind of terrible. It didn't advance anywhere. It was just a lateral situation. They just caused problems. It was just something that just went on day to day to day to day to day. No solution. Everything's so vague with them. I'm gonna have to do a whole podcast on the vagueness and how that vagueness is a waste of life and time. You don't have to live with leaders that are vague. You can actually live like we have a president right now that can give you A, B, C, D, E, F, G through the agenda of what they're trying to do. And it's evident, you know, in how the country has advanced. They want to bring down costs. The cost of what? Everybody's at home living on a disability check. What more do they want? Everything is free. Everything is built for communism. I mean, that's what they're trying to build for 2028, right? A communist life where everything is free, where it's open borders and everything is free. The open borders has actually been good because it's forced people to get dual citizenships and be able to have freedom in and out the country, if I've noticed. But those people aren't living for free. You know what I'm saying? That's why I don't know if Ishmael, Issachar, and Asher, if they just want to just live for free. So they're not the third world country people that we're talking about. It's other people. It's not Issachar, it's not Asher, and it's not Ishmael. It's somebody else. It's one of these other nations, but it's not them. So I'm not sure, but I'm glad that y'all know them when they show up. Y'all know the Mexicans when they show up. the Latin people or the Hispanic, you know them when they show up, but they're not the third world people. They're not those. So there is a difference. There's a difference. They live wealthy. They don't live like they was in a fight to see like who number one kind of with Jacob, because they are part of Jacob. Like mucho a part of Jacob. Like here you can just, it's just interesting how I can be here where I'm at this coast. But anyway, I've gained so much respect for my Ishmael, Issachar brothers. Asher, I gained so much respect for them. So much mutual respect, okay? Because I was able to separate that they're not the third world nation that's trying to pull us down. Mexico got money. Better be having money. It's not about that. They can get the cash. What are you saying? And it's not all African either. In fact, I grew up Olu. With Olu. Like Yoruba Nigerian tribe. Back like years, seems like lifetimes ago. And so, but they wasn't like in love with money, but they were wealthy. You know what I'm saying? Princes and princesses. But I'm thinking about their name Olu, and how I was always treated royal, I went when I was in the Nigerian wedding. They tied my gele, and I was like one of a few Americans in the wedding. And so, anyway, I have experience with cultures and people groups, and I know everybody's not living like third world. You know, they're wealthy, and so I don't understand, and I'm sure they don't either. They might understand. Anyway, yeah, I grew up with African princes and princesses, where their name is Princess. Oh, Olu Princess. So, and they might know each other. So I'm bringing them up, my Olu family, Olu Fumi, Olu Kimi, Olu Sham, bringing them up. And they may know them because they wealthy. I don't know. Wealthy people here in America know other wealthy people, so I would assume that the wealthy folks from there would know each other too. Anyway, I'm about to charge my phone. I was hired at HEB in Frisco. I was hired at HEB in Frisco, Texas. Woo! That's why I used to keep this shit trapped up. I used to apply for jobs all over the country. I used to apply for all kind of jobs all over the country just to get my name in the system there. If I cut on the news and it's a problem, oh, I'm applying there. I'm contacting somebody there. Thin line between sandy and insanity now. I want y'all to think about what you're doing and what you're saying, because some of this shit don't make sense. Anyway, let me charge my shit and come on back up. So, one last thought. I wanted to prove that although I was outside all this time homeless, right? But I wanted to show that there are other ways to document growth in life. And so when I began, since I knew that I'd be outside for life, that's why I began growing my hair out intentionally, so that I could have some type of measurement, set some type of stone to measure growth when I wouldn't be able to get in. And these are the years where like everything can be kind of blurred. When people are in their ages like 30s and 40s and everybody still can look the same for like a decade or two, it's a good time to dwarf life, because everyone's kind of, that's just how it is. You know, you get into these few years where your body and life and everything will kind of be the same for a while, and it's a good way to dwarf everything. So you have to get creative and think about how you can grow your life. And so I'm listening to all these people down talk homeless people, and I be thinking, damn, I don't know that many homeless people with their hair with length like mine from being outside. Women, black women, Latin women, brown women, wherever, however you want to say it. Women that resemble Egyptian people. You know what I'm saying? Anyway. So I'm working on this. See how much I can grow this. And Raise my little piece. But yeah. I'm gonna start coming on more now, like I said, because I am becoming a Florida resident, and so now I can just be myself, and I can take that whole my whole 40-year existence in Texas. I can take that whole 40 years and redo it here for the next 40 years, and so that is exciting to me. All right, enough capping for right now. I'll come back on later.